Hello, my name is Tyler Dale. Welcome to the very first Tyler Dale podcast. This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time now. Over the years, I've listened to so many different podcasts, and I've been motivated, I've been inspired. I've learned so many different things about life, about different career paths, about creative people, about comedians, musicians, scientists, philosophers. And I've been able to take things out of every interview and apply it to my own life. And so podcasts have been extremely important for me. Like I said, with people like Joe Rogan. And so one thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to start a podcast for myself to kind of discuss my life, to discuss the music that I'm creating, who I'm creating it with. I want an opportunity to talk to my friends, my family, my mentors, other musicians, professors, teachers that I've had along the way. Basically, anybody that I'm kind of interested in. I'm interested in a lot of different things, whether that be music or nature, or podcast, or fitness, health and wellness. I feel like I've learned so many things over the past few years. And I just want to kind of have a platform to share that, to hopefully maybe enhance your life in some fashion, while also still trying to figure out how I want to live my life. And I'm just trying to figure out more and more just about the human spirit. And I'm just really excited to kind of get started and practice the art of conversation. I think it's an art that is lost nowadays with social media and with some technology. That's one thing that I've always admired about people like Joe Rogan, because he can have a 3-hour long conversation. And it seems like he really gets to know his guests every single interview or conversation, whatever you want to call it. But that just is really inspiring to me. And I have some people that I already have in mind that I'm going to start reaching out to. But I thought that this first one should just kind of be a solo cast where I kind of describe some of my intentions. I'm a teacher. I'm a guitar teacher. So I'm really interested in music, obviously. But I want to talk about other things as well. I want to talk about social injustices. I mean, it's something that's so prevalent right now. I want to talk to different police officers. I have some friends who are police officers. I want to pick their brains about what we're supposed to do as civilians whenever we see injustices, especially in the black community. It's like, how can we help? And so I have some friends that I'm going to reach out to, and I'm going to ask them to come on, and just so I can learn more, and so I can be a better human being, and I can send my love and my light to everyone as best as I can. That's really all that I'm here to do anyways. And so that's what this whole thing will be about. So now that I kind of got through some of that, just kind of basics about what this whole thing's going to be about, I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about my journey so far in the music business in 2020. So for those of you who don't know, I was planning on releasing one song a month this year. For the past 10 years or so, I've sang in a band with my sister, Kristen Annie. We have traveled across the Midwest, playing gigs from South Dakota to Minnesota to Tulsa to Missouri, Iowa, Mississippi, all kinds of different places, all different kinds of casinos, festivals, fairs, bars. We've kind of done it all in the cover scene. And in 2017, we actually released our first album called Far From Giants, which was under Leland's Road. And this year for me has just kind of been a start to my debut solo career. Kristen will always be singing with me, will always be writing together, and she'll always be a part of this musical journey. And we're actually working on even getting her own music, some of her own songs out there under Kristen Annie, and so we can play some shows together. We're going to continue to play some shows together after all this quarantine, kind of after everything settles down, after the COVID situation settles down a little bit. My band, we're all extremely excited to get back to playing music for you live. We were playing at Westport Social once a month. We were playing at Tin Roof. We had all these different venues, and all of a sudden, we weren't able to play anywhere. So it's just been difficult being away from playing music live and playing with my friends on stage and having those experiences with you as fans who were there. So it's just been really hard, and so we are looking forward to coming back and playing some cover gigs, mixing in original music with cover songs. Ultimately, my dream has always been to be an original singer-songwriter. I would say that's kind of been always the dream. And so that's what I'm kind of working on. I'd like to get way more original gigs, but cover gigs are great, for more exposure. It's always fun, especially Westport Social, especially here in St. Louis. We had a gig there once a month, and it was always fun playing. We'd play from like 8 to 12 or so, and by the end of the night, the liquor would be heavily flowing, and the dance floor would be packed, and it was just always so much fun. We always had a blast playing there. So hopefully we can get back to Westport Social, along with everywhere else in St. Louis and beyond, because ultimately, we love playing music and we love writing music. And that's one thing that I love the most, is writing music and performing it for you. So hopefully we're going to get back there. But kind of getting back to this year, kind of what's going on is I was releasing one song a month. So far I released Colorado Kiss, Another Taste, Hose Off, and Playlist, which can all be found on Spotify, which can be found on YouTube, Apple Music, iTunes, all streaming services, under Tyler Dale. So if you look those song titles up, you will be able to find each song. Currently, we have one song in the batter's box and another song on deck, I would say. Throughout this entire process, I've been working with Logan Miller, who is an incredible human being. I can't say enough about him. He has been my producer, my guitar player, piano player, bass player, singer, songwriter. He's literally been there the entire way. We've been playing together live for a couple years. We were actually introduced to each other through Kristen, through their church, that they were going to at that time. Logan is a worship leader, and he is in a band called Kingly with John Strandell. John is another producer, singer, songwriter that I've worked with that I'll be talking more about. But yeah, so Logan is just, one of my closest friends who's just done so much for me this entire year. And I'm just going to say this. If you are an artist, if you are a songwriter, if you are looking to perform and get your music out there, I would highly suggest reaching out to Logan Miller. It's been one of my best decisions. I absolutely love every single thing that he has worked on. Not only does he do all the producing, songwriting, all the instruments, but he also does all the stuff, all the mixing. Like he's an assistant mixing engineer on all of my songs so far. So he really knows how to use Logic, Pro Tools, and kind of get the songs all together. So it's been really incredible working with him. He's so encouraging and so positive, and he's such just a beautiful person to be around, a beautiful spirit. And so I highly suggest, if you need anything at all, to go to Logan Miller. If you're in St. Louis, or if you're hearing this from another city, hit him up. I'm going to have him on here actually soon. I don't know when. I texted him and said, yo, I need you to come on this podcast, and we need to talk more in depth about everything that you do and everything that that he's done for me along the way. So looking forward to doing that, Logan. Can't wait wait for you guys to listen. Can't wait to learn more about his beginnings as a musician and just what he's into. So like I said, the very first song was Colorado Kiss. We recorded that at Sherpa Studios in St. Louis, Missouri. It's actually in Brentwood with Brian Ryback. Brian Ryback is the mixing engineer there, and he's the owner of Sherpa. That was an incredible experience, being able to work with Miles Vandeveer and Eric Warren. I always call him Eric Eastburn. Eastburn is the one who sent me the beginning of Colorado Kiss. Actually, he sent me the demo for that song. And he plays bass with us a lot. He plays bass with us. We also have Zebediah Briskovich, who also plays bass with us. He played on Playlist. Eric played on Colorado Kiss. Writing Colorado Kiss was a really incredible experience because, like I said, Eric sent me a track one day and said, I don't have any lyrics, but I like this groove. It kind of had a Sheryl Crow vibe, I thought. Kind of like a Steve McQueen thing, little Steve Jordan in there, action. And the first thing as soon as I heard it, it was kind of like this guitar riff. And the first thing I thought about was just riding my motorcycle in the mountains. And I was hooked. I was like, I need to write a song about riding my motorcycle in the mountains in Colorado. I need to go to Denver. So I immediately kind of just thought of that. The line came to my head right away of two wheels on the interstate, the sun sinking way down low. I don't know where I'm going to rest my head. All I know is I got to go. So that's kind of like the first thing that happened. And so from there, I basically wrote the first two verses for the most part. And then I wrote the chorus. Kind of sat on the tune for a while, honestly, until Joanna Sarenko heard it, and she kind of helped me finish writing it. Joanna and Logan are both incredible at fixing, editing, changing little lines, changing words. That's one of their biggest gifts, at least so far, what I've seen, especially with any of my music that I bring to them on any of my songs. I just give it to them. I'm like, hey, I'm having a trouble with the third verse. And then every time it's like they both kind of know where to go with it. If you're unfamiliar with Joanna Sarenko, she's also going to be coming on the podcast. You got to go check her out. She's unbelievable. Not only the most talented musician I know, it just oozes out of her. All the talent just oozes out of her, but she's just such a beautiful spirit, incredible human being. She has such beautiful songs. Yeah, I'm just so incredibly happy and proud of her and excited for everything that she's going to do in her life, musically and otherwise. I just think she's an incredible human being. Go check her music out. It's on Spotify. It's on everything. Best of Me is out right now, and actually she's gonna be releasing Good Side in June, and then we also are writing some songs. We have some things that are gonna be coming out. We're gonna be getting in the recording studio. She had some things with The Voice, contract-wise. She was just on The Voice Top 9. Go look her up. Once again, Joanna Cerenko. If you don't know her already, you will. She's going to be a megastar. But yeah, go look that up. So Joanna kind of helped me with the Colorado Kiss, kind of with some lines, and so we booked the studio date at Sherpa with Eric and Miles and Brian and Logan and Joanna and Kristen. They were all there. We were all just kind of hanging out. It was beautiful. And we started working on Colorado Kiss. We also started working on Hose Off and Another Taste, actually, in that same weekend. It was like a weekend studio, some studio dates. I think it was actually back in maybe November or December of 2019. And after that, we had Dave Grelly. Dave Grelly is an incredible piano player. Incredible person. Once again, he came in. Hopefully I'm gonna get Dave on the show. I'm probably gonna be getting every single person that I talk about. I'm gonna bring them on the podcast because I just want people to know about them. I want all of these singer-songwriters. You know, if you're looking for a bass player, like, you have to call Eric Eastburn. You have to call Zebediah Briskovich. You know, you have to call Sean Hurley, which is another bass player that I've been really fortunate to work with, who played on Hose Off. He also played on Another Taste. And that was a beautiful connection because Sean Hurley actually played on my first album with Kristen, with Leland's Road. We just reached out to him over Instagram, honestly. And Sean Hurley, if you're unaware, Sean Hurley is one of the top studio bass players living today. I would say he's played on a ton of different records with a ton of different people, and he's just an unbelievable musician, unbelievable person. We were listening. The reason why we originally called him for the Leland's Road thing, one of the reasons, was because he plays on John Mayer's Paradise Valley, and he also plays on the Born and Raised record. And I remember one day sitting there listening to Queen of California, and I was listening to the bass part, and I immediately thought to myself, I need Sean to play on all of my songs, or at least on this song. He was like, one of my heroes. I was like, I need Sean to play on this song. And so I reached out to him, and he was super gracious to work with us, and it's just been a great connection there. So he plays with Maren Morris, Lady Antebellum, a ton of different musicians that I look up to and who inspire me. So kind of going along with Sean, another person that I started working with on this album that I'm working on was Aaron Sterling. Aaron Sterling is one of the top session drummer guys in the world right now. I mean, he's on everything. Probably everything that you listen to, he's probably on it. From Dan and Shay to Lady Antebellum to Maren Morris to John Mayer. He was also the one playing the drums on Queen of California, and that was another thing. I was like, I need this rhythm section. I just have to get this rhythm section. And so what happened with that actually was Aaron did 2 pop-up master classes in Nashville, and I highly recommend if any of your heroes, or if any of these musicians that you listen to and inspire you, if they have some kind of masterclass, or if they have something where they are going to come out and give their knowledge, go immediately. Go. Because that's what happened. He just did a pop-up thing on his Instagram. Said, "Hey, I'm going to be in Nashville doing a master class at this recording studio. 10 to 12 people are going to be there." So I signed up. Went to 2 of them, and it was incredible. I was the only singer-songwriter in the room, and it was so amazing for me and so informational. Like I was sitting there, and I got to see from the perspective, I got to see through like Aaron Sterling's eyes of like what he thinks about when he is recording music, what he thinks about when he hears a song for the first time, how he, I got to learn about the whole thing and the whole production, especially coming from the drums. And it was just an incredible thing for me to be a part of, honestly. So after that, I reached out to Aaron. I said, "Aaron, I'd love for you to play on some of my tunes." And since I had built that connection with Aaron, he was like, "Yeah, absolutely, let's do it." So I've been able to work with them, and it's just been so incredible. Aaron played on Another Taste with Sean, and he also played on Playlist with Zeb, which is really cool because Playlist was different for me. It had that's the one I just released. He did more of like an electronic drum, like a trigger up front, and I was just super into it. And then I love how he came in with the live acoustic drums. You can go listen to it on Spotify so you can know what I'm saying here. But yeah, it was just an unbelievable experience having those musicians, on the album. I was also just so incredibly fortunate to have people like Ariel Posen. If you're not familiar with Ariel Posen, you got to go check him out. He's an unbelievable slide guitar player. Unbelievable. I was a huge fan of his last album. He's somebody that plays with Brothers Landreth, and he was just unbelievable. He played slide guitar on Another Taste. Whenever we wrote the tune, I just thought, slide guitar, Ariel Posen, he's the guy. And so I reached out to him, and I said, "Ariel, I'd love for you to play on this track." And like I said, he was gracious enough to say yes and to play on the track, and it was beautiful. Moving on from Ariel, we have Josh Betheny, who is another incredible musician. Josh is a dobro player from Nashville. He's played with Carly Pearce, with Michael Ray. He's played with a ton of different musicians, and I had to have him play dobro on Playlist. It just had to happen. So he was another person that I reached out to, and he was gracious enough to say yes and to work with me, and played some beautiful dobro on Playlist. And he also actually just sent me back some more tracks of him playing on the song that's on deck. So if you're not familiar with baseball, you got, your batter's box, which is like coming up to the plate. That's a song called Last Goodbye that Logan and I are working on. And then on the on deck circle, we got Firefighter. It's a song that I just wrote with John Strandell. John Strandell is the other half of Kingly, with Logan Miller. Kingly is a Christian band that Logan and John started together, and they have several different Christian artists under their name, Kingly. I've actually got to play bass with them a couple of times. They're just incredible people, and people that you want to do life with, for sure. And so I was extremely blessed that I was able to write this song with John via FaceTime, actually. We had a two weeks ago we had a writing session, and John and I I think we had an hour and a half together. So we wrote this tune. I kind of had an idea for this tune, and immediately as soon as we started on it, John just, here's a verse, here's another verse. Okay, perfect. Here's the chorus. Called me up and said, hey, come out on Wednesday and let's record this thing. So I went over and did the vocals, and we sent it off to Josh Matheny for some dobro, and it is unbelievable. So I'm just really, really excited for those releases that are going to be coming out. Just trying to think about if I'm missing anybody that we've played with. There's just been so many different people who have been a part of this project. Trenton Bilo was one of the people who were there from the very beginning. Trenton is the mixing and sound engineer for Grace Church here in St. Louis. He's worked with Kingly several times. I got to work with him through Kingly. He ran sound for a couple gigs that we did. And he's an incredible person, incredible mixing engineer. Hopefully I'm going to have him on the podcast as well and talking about mixing, live mixing, recording mixing. I'm going to be talking to him about that. He mixed Colorado Kiss. I also had Alex Daubert from the Hit Lab in Nashville who mastered Colorado Kiss. And then we've also been able to work with mastering engineers like Pete Lyman, Grammy Award-winning, actually, mastering engineer Pete Lyman from Infrasonic Sound. He's somebody that is an incredible mastering engineer to work with. Every single song he sends back is like butter, and I have loved everything that he has sent. So thanks, Pete. It's been really fun. And then Jaron Nix. Jaron's been mixing some of the other tunes. He did Hose Off, and he did Another Taste, and he also did Playlists, and he totally just captured each one of those songs perfectly. So a big shout out to Jaron, mixing engineer. So if you need any of these people, and that's another reason why I'm actually telling you all these kind of about the personnel, is because I want you as a singer, as a songwriter, if you have a dobro part that you need, call Josh Matheny. Like, these are people that I would recommend any day to get on your record, get on your song, because these people are just incredible musicians who have made the experience incredible for me. And so I hope that you also get to use them as well. If you have any questions at all about anybody that I've used, or anybody, feel free to reach out to me. Hopefully at some point I'll have all of them on the podcast and kind of dive in more and kind of talk to all of them about what inspires them. Talk to them about their history, more of their music, more of where you can hear their music. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Kind of just to kind of finish up and talking with the music and how everything is going this year. I thought I'd kind of let you know my goal of what I'm kind of doing here with the music. So unfortunately, I feel like most people don't listen to the album all the way through, at least anymore. At least most people. Like, I feel like our attention spans, as we continue to have technological advances, it seems like our attention spans are dwindling. And it just seems like music is moving into a place where people are interested in hearing a single and having new content. And we're back. Sorry for the interruption. This whole thing is going to be a learning experience for me as well. And I just learned that my camera turns off automatically. So I'm going to have to find out a different way to record this. at least video wise. So for all my friends out there, if you have a podcast or if you have any ideas on how to make your batteries last a little longer, I have a Sony A6300 camera that I'm recording this with. So if any of you have any ideas for me of how I can maybe record this a little longer, please feel free to reach out. But anyways, kind of back to what I was saying about music this year. So far there are 4 songs out. I'll probably be releasing maybe 4 more songs this year, and then gonna be releasing a full-length album, my first debut album under Tyler Dale. I'm really excited about it. I'm just really excited about being able to work with all of my mentors who have just completely made all of my dreams come true, honestly, with this song. Whether that be Miles or Eric or Zeb or Dave, Logan, Kristen, Joanna, Aaron, Sean, Ariel. I mean, there's just so many people. And I'm just so grateful for them, and I want you all to be able to know them, and and I want you to be fans of their music and things that they're doing in their life, because I think that they're all just really incredible people, and I just support them more than anything. And so I want you to kind of know them a little more. I want you to kind of learn a little more about me as well, what I'm into, my journey, things that I've learned along the way. I have so many people that have inspired me, whether it be Aubrey Marcus or Cam Hanes or David Goggins or Tony Robbins. Personally, I'm a huge fan of self-help books and self-help podcasts. Huge fan of Jordan Peterson and his book, 12 Rules for Life. I'm constantly interested in learning new ways to do life and ways to enhance my life. Not only enhance my life, but enhance the life of my family, the people that I love, my friends. And so I just learned so much over the years, whether it be in music, whether it be in my fitness journey. This is something that I'm going to get into later on for sure, but I was 268 pounds out of college, and I was unhealthy, and I wasn't working out, and I wasn't eating right, and at some point, I just made a decision to change. I was just sick and tired of being fat and lazy, and I was listening to people like Joe Rogan, who would say, conquer your inner bitch. And then I would listen to people like Cameron Hanes, who would say, nobody cares, work harder, keep hammering, get out there. If you don't follow Cameron Hanes, he is somebody that you need to follow immediately if you are looking for something to light a fire under you as a human being, and wanting the most out of yourself and wanting the most out of life, because he is somebody who on any given day you can find running a marathon every day. He's an ultra marathon runner. He's a professional bow hunter. I mean, he does so much, and he's just incredible shape. And I think he's in his 50s, and that's what motivates me. I aspire to be that, to be like those people, like Cameron Hanes and the Joe Rogans, people who are getting things done in life. Aubrey Marcus, who is the CEO of, or at least he was the CEO of On It. And he has a book, Own the Day, Own Your Life, which I loved. And I got so many amazing things out of that. And I've gotten so many things amazing things out of his podcast alone. He's one of the main reasons why I went to Spirit Quest in Peru last year. That's going to be that's going to be a whole nother podcast in itself. I'm really excited about talking about my time there in Peru. When the time's right. It's not right yet, but one day it will be, and I'm really excited for sharing about my time there in Peru at Spirit Quest. One of the most life-changing, one of the best decisions I've ever made actually was going there to Spirit Quest. So look up Spirit Quest Sanctuary if you are interested at all. And like I said, I'll be talking about that later in some later podcasts. Feel free to reach out to me, though, because I'm always interested. I'm always willing to talk about my experiences that I received there, my download. And I'm still in touch with all the beautiful people there. And hopefully we'll be even bringing them on for some podcasts in the future. And so, I look to what I want to do with this podcast is I want to try and share everything that I've learned, everything that's helped me, and I want to share it with you, whether that be through a book or a podcast or an interview with a friend or a mentor, philosopher, whoever I decide to have on here. I think my only request as a listener would be please have patience with me. This is my first experience stepping out and creating a podcast, speaking on camera. Scary, right? Speaking into this a beautiful microphone here. Actually, this AKG 414, and it's a scary thing to get there. To get my opinions out there, or, it could be nerve-wracking. So, especially when you don't know what to expect. You have your camera, which turns off after 30 minutes. If Pro Tools would lock up, that's what I'm using here as my audio file is Pro Tools. Like, I'm still trying to learn this, honestly. So I would say that I would just ask that you have patience with me in the beginning of this and in the start. You might see different camera angles. You might see different microphones. You might see different settings. We might be at a different part of the house. We might even hear some barks from my little puppy who I just actually got. He's 10 weeks old. Cedar. He's a little Labradoodle. And he's the cutest dog ever. And if you disagree, then stop listening to this immediately. No, I'm kidding. You can have your own opinion. That's a beautiful thing, right? We can all have our opinions, our own opinions, and we can bring people on things like this to talk about them. And so that's one thing that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I just ask that you just have patience with this whole process, and I think so far I've mentioned pretty much everyone who has played on the album. So I first of all, once again, huge thank you to everyone who has played on the album. Like I said, just so excited to work with all these incredible musicians. But actually, I also just thought about another drummer. So I have not only Miles Vanderveer, not only Aaron Sterling, but we also got Ian O'Neill, who is the touring drummer with Lady Antebellum, and he's with Charles Kelly. He is unbelievable, an unbelievable musician, unbelievable person. I just reached out to him, and he was like, absolutely, would love to play on it. And it was so much fun working with him, because we would FaceTime and we would talk about kind of my vision for the song, and what Logan's visions were for the songs. And then we just, even though he's in Nashville and we're in St. Louis, we were able to get the track sorted out. And he will be playing on the song called Last Goodbye, which will be coming out probably sometime in June, maybe July, early July. I don't have a release date. I'm just kind of working on these songs as I go. Like I said, I'm a teacher. I'm a music teacher, and I'm paying for everything out of my pocket, basically. So I kind of just pay as I go. So I'm not always able to just kind of, even if I have all the songs, like, I have the other songs that are ready to go, but it's just kind of difficult to, have all the money up front, because if you don't know anything about the industry, it is very expensive. At least it can be, adding up your recording studio costs, adding up your, all of your musicians, and that doesn't even include any kind of promotion, any kind of marketing. So it could be a little expensive. And so that's why I'm kind of taking my time. And especially with no gigs, it's just been kind of difficult. So that's kind of why it's a longer, slower process that I'm releasing these songs. I think I did say Justin Shipper, but he played some steel guitar on Last Goodbye as well. And then I think we had Brian Phillips as well who played steel on Hose Off. And so I'm pretty sure that's everybody who was a part of the music. And which leaves me to want to thank you. And this is probably actually how I'll end today. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for sharing. For those of you who have shared my songs, thank you. I can't describe enough how much it means to me, and how grateful I am to have fans who are listening and to my music, and sharing it with their friends and their family. It really means a lot to me. I just hope that these songs can, I hope that they can find a special place in your heart or in your mind. And even if it's a sad song or if it's a happy song, I just, as I write these, I just, as we work on them together as a team with Logan, with Joanna, with Kristen, with John, everybody, we just want, we want you to have the same reaction that we do when we're writing them, because it is one of the most fun things you can ever do, I believe, is creating a song from nothing. And it's just so beautiful, and it's so exciting. And there's so many beautiful moments along the way, and where it's full, where the room is just full of laughter. If it's Logan and I, or if it's John, somebody will say a line and it's just like perfect. And you just start laughing because you're like, wow, like that was just, you're so impressed with these other songwriters. Like, that was the best line ever, and so collaborating with these people is so beautiful and so exciting to watch these songs just come from nothing. And then to hear everybody's voice and to hear what they put on the song, it's just all been incredible. And so it just means so much to us that you listen, because that's obviously, the only thing that, we want as songwriters and performers is we want to write something that you can connect with and that you can feel, like we feel. These songs mean so much to me, and to so much to all of us. So once again, I just want to thank you for being along for the ride. Those 189 listeners that we had last month, who listen to Colorado Kiss and listen to Playlist and listen to Another Taste and listen to Hose Off. I just want to thank you. And thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for all of your positive words and affirmations. You know, it can be extremely vulnerable, and it can be this, you know, writing songs is hard, and it can be an emotional experience. And, you know, so it just means so much whenever you as fans, as my friends, or as my family, you know, as you were all reaching out and saying, hey man, you know, this one was my favorite. That was one thing that I thought was cool, was I kind of had, you know, with each release so far, somebody has said that, well, okay, this one's my favorite. Well, no, this one's my favorite. And, you know, and so it's been really cool to watch you connect with each song. And so, you know, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. That's the only way that my music can get heard. It's the only way that this podcast can get heard, is if you are sharing it, if you're watching it, telling your friends about it. But I think that's enough for today. I just kind of wanted to start. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to growing as a human being. I'm really interested in, you know, becoming a better listener, you know, actually having a good conversation, really getting to know people, really diving deep into every topic there is. And, you know, I'm just really excited for the future of the TDP, Tyler Dale Podcast. And I'm just really excited for the music and for this whole journey. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for watching this podcast. Thanks for listening to my music. Please continue to listen, continue to share. And I can't wait to share with you all these incredible people in my life. And until next time, see ya.